a civilian transport, then converted for military use. Very, very strong reinforced floor, used for the carriage of pretty well anything in wartime, from jeeps to personnel, paratroopers, generals, dropping of supplies to the resistance. It was a very, very versatile aeroplane indeed. Now, a lot of people don't know that there is a origin to the name Dakota. From the initial Douglas aircraft, transport aircraft, Dakota. That's apparently the origin. The RAF took it on and it became known as the DAC. Famous actors, Jimmy Edwards, if any of you remember him, any of the older generation, he was a Dakota pilot in the Second World War. Unarmed, of course, just vulnerable to enemy fire, more vulnerable from ground attack than any other. Anti-aircraft fire often brought them down. I was speaking recently to Clive Edwards, who's a very well-known American aircraft engineer, who's all over the world fixing these aircraft, and he said in his opinion it's without doubt one of the strongest aircraft ever built that he's ever worked on. Extremely strong construction, the real hammer, carry payload, and as we can see, unique looking shape to it, but could be anything else. C-47 saw action in the Far East, in New Guinea and in Burma. Guadalcanal as part of the weakening out of the Japanese toward the end of the war. The Americans spent an awful lot of manpower and aircraft and ships and so on getting the Japanese to surrender along those islands up from Formosa. Battle of Bastogne, of course, as depicted in Band of Heroes, that excellent series that depicted the journey through Europe so well. But once again, I can boast the family connection. The C-47 was used in the Berlin Airlift when the Soviets blockaded Berlin, starving the civilians of food and water and power. These aircraft were used. My father flew the Berlin Airlift on the C-54, or known as the DC-4, as opposed to the C-47. The result, as we know later on, many years later, was the Berlin Wall. So we're going to take our last look at the C-47 as it makes its final pass. Just have a look and listen. Created by a legend. Pegasus is, as I say, so keep these days with all sorts of activities. Have a look at the website to see just exactly what's going on with the C-47. Used in civilian service after the war. I can remember going as a passenger on one with East African Airways in about 1972, I think it was, out from Nairobi to Malindi. Most flaps, just like crazy. one of the few licensed qualified pilots on the register allowed to fly this aeroplane. Charming chap, very experienced indeed. Just here to talk about bringing the speed off the aircraft ready for touchdown. Oh, that was a good one. On to show. Look at that. So the huge thank you to Andy Dixon for that magnificent display. Look at that. And we're privileged here at the Aero Legends weekend to enjoy sight and sound